Welcome to the Arclight Battery, your power source for all things Warcraft Rumble related. And today we have episode 2 of Arclight Rumblings, our new podcast with Blue Max. How's it going, Blue Max?
Doing well. How's it going, Minnie?
Oh, pretty well.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Happy Friday. I'm so happy I don't have to work over the weekend.
Oh.
um,
Sorry
so,
to hear that.
no, I'm happy I don't have to work over the weekend.
Oh. Okay.
Sounds
Sounds good.
we are going to do something a little different this time. So last time the episode was on my channel. This time and going forward from now on, we're going to do half of the episode on my channel and half of the episode on Blue Max's channel. And we're going to have a couple topics each. So let's go ahead and get into the first topic. And I thought
Sounds good.
that we would look at patch notes and give our take on it. We're not going to read every single one. There's a bunch of like random dungeon relics that are just kind of eh. So we're just going to scroll through it and find the important bits. So let's see here. Our first big change is to the war chest. So war chest crests no longer will be immediately granted based on players' new honor after a season reset, or re-earned for honor below that value. Instead, all war chest crest rewards per 200 honor gained per family have been greatly increased. So here we have different honor ranges, and the old crest per honor, or per 200 honor, was 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, based on your bracket. Now it's just 100 across the board. So it is an increase, but it means that guilds will no longer be able to complete it on the first day. So what are your thoughts on that, Max? Because I don't know how I like it.
Well, I actually do like it quite a bit because I like feeling as if we have something to push for, and that's just a feature in Warcraft Rumble. Guilds cooperating and working together, I feel like has not been tapped very hard in Warcraft Rumble at all. So this is kind of low-hanging fruit, but it will serve that purpose because the first few seasons, day one hits and Diablo Gaming, Honor Guard, a few of the other high-level PvP Diablo guilds have the chest done on day one, and now you've got people going, well, now we got to wait 41 more days to unlock some new guild rewards. And so it's going to spread it out a little bit.
Okay.
I think that's good. But, question, do you think that this is going to hurt smaller guilds that don't do PvP as much?
Yes. So I believe you can get I believe you can fill your war chest pretty easily if everybody in your guild does surges.
Yes.
However, sometimes you might not have 15 people in a guild, or at least active people that will do all of their surges, because I mean, to me at least, surges are just boring. If they didn't provide gold, I wouldn't do them.
Same.
Obviously, they provide something, so it's nice, but if guilds miss their surges sometimes and they don't capitalize on this, because I feel like most players are probably at the 3k point and then they don't get reset back down. So not getting honor from the first three brackets, from 0 to 1,000, 1,000, 2,000, 2,000, 3,000 is kind of rough for them. Like, how much further are they going to push in PvP and get more crests for their war chest? However, I don't really think that is my biggest issue with this, and of course it is an issue. My biggest issue with it, well, to me, is that it's just like fixing something that's probably didn't need to be fixed. It's like, why? Maybe this is harsh, but why are they spending time fixing an issue that wasn't an issue? It's just kind of strange to me that they would choose to fix something like this. And like you said, maybe it's so that we can feel good as a guild by working towards something. But it's still like, did this really matter?
And it could have been a low-hanging fruit where, and what I mean by that is just, hey, we've come up with a solution that we like. It's going to be really easy to implement, and we want to incrementalize our changes and get something substantial out in each patch. And so I think that I think that could have been some of the reasoning behind it. I mean, outside of that line of thinking, uh, I can totally see your perspective, and that has crossed my mind too. It was like there are more glaringly obvious issues with the game that need to get addressed. So, you know, let's focus on those. Yeah, I totally get that mentality. I totally get where you're coming from.
All right. So, I think that's good. I think we can move on to the next topic. So,
Okay.
PvP improvements. We have maps will now be selected at random when you match with an opponent. The previously rotating map modifier will be replaced with a new modifier type, Enchants. The PvP experience will now be defined by a tower type, mod, and enchant, occurring on the existing 6-week rotation, offset 2 weeks from each other. Enchants evolve as the match progresses. The first enchant this season is collateral damage, which causes players' base to take damage whenever a tower they control is captured. So, just clarity on that, it's 20% of your base's max health, so 5 towers, you win the game. And it says enchants evolve as the match progresses. They
No, they
don't.
don't.
They're just like
Yeah.
they're basically modifiers with a different name. Though they definitely feel
Yeah.
more impactful than modifiers, but they don't change as
Yes.
the game goes on. It's just an added feature.
Mm-hmm.
Some existing mod types have been moved to the enchant category because they're basically the same thing, with new mods arriving to take their place. Keep an
Yeah.
eye out for a new mod bounty hunt later this season. Bounty hunt awards players a bonus gold for every 5 enemy minis they kill.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on enchantments so far? I think that they are fun and probably changed the meta enough. However, it felt like our last meta with the small map
Yeah.
was kind of side tower execute strategies. And for our
Yes.
first enchant, collateral damage, it feels like that meta has stayed around. Now, when we get a
Yes.
new enchant, maybe that changes. But so far, it's kind of the same meta, and I mean, honestly, I love it when the meta rotates. So it sticking around for another 6 weeks is kind of rough for me, but I'm sure other players enjoy it.
Now, doesn't this enchant only last for the next 9 days or 8 days, right, Minnie?
No, this enchant will
I'm
last for 6 weeks, I believe.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
Yep, it's just like
Oh no.
it's
Oh
just like
no.
everything else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. Okay. Um. Wow. I'm kind of. I'm kind of a little stumped there, and the reason why is because I feel the exact same way. I know a lot of people in our guild and a lot of people just in the PvP community in general got a little burnt out of the side tower aggression or side tower madness, whatever you want to call it. And so these first few days of running Hillsbrad Foothills felt very different. There wasn't a huge amount of strategic value to the tower. It was so just heavily focused on get your gold, get your opponent's gold if you can, and just focus on taking out the barracks. And so yeah, to get an enchant that just basically brings us right back where we were is a little frustrating. It just, well, hey, we're gonna have to roll with it. We're gonna have to really brush up on our side tower strategies and not only know when to take, but also the sequence that you want to use in order to retake. And so, if the enchants do 20% of the max health of your barracks, that means capture. So, if my tower is captured, yeah, it's so if you go into a capture recapture type sequence by the 5th time that that turns around, your barracks is toast. And I don't know about you, but I had some Arathi Basin matches that may have very well had that many capture recaptures.
Oh,
So,
absolutely. So
yeah.
as much as I don't like the enchant for keeping the same meta around, it feels.
Mm-hmm.
I have enjoyed that it has sped up the pace of the game because there's only so many times you can capture and recapture a tower
Yep.
before the game ends, like you said. So at the very
Yep.
least, it is making games quicker, which I think is awesome. There's like this little
Mm-hmm.
fast-paced decision of like I need to defend my towers, but I also need to focus on taking their towers. How much gold can I spend up there to have enough to defend my tower? Or am I just going to dump all my gold into their tower and not worry about mine and just race them? So it is fun in that aspect. I just wish more minis had an opportunity to shine. But maybe that's more of a balance thing, rather than a PvP thing.
Yeah. Well, you know, I put a PvP predictions video out a couple weeks ago and talked a lot about my thoughts about PvP. I'm going to back off that, and we'll discuss that a little bit later in the video when we move on to our second topic. But yeah, I mean, I'm pretty much running the same units in all of my builds, and so far that's working well enough for me. That is a shame because I was looking forward to having to kind of specialize a little bit more in the same map, but at the same time, maybe it really will shake up the meta a lot because you don't know what map you're going to get, and that also means that you're going to have to keep track of what all 5 PvP maps. You're going to have to keep fresh on, what the objectives are on each one of those, and so that might actually keep it from becoming too stale. Yeah. So have we no, we haven't reached it. Have we reached discussing the fact that treasure tests now spawn 15 seconds after match start? I think that's a good move.
I'm going to read the next little section and it'll be in that. So, additional PvP improvements. PvP wins will now award 2 reward pips in a player's daily rewards. PvP wins will now re-roll green quests. Players will earn slightly more honor if the leader being played is below the average honor of their top 3 leaders, has fallen below that leader's peak honor for the current season, or has won several matches in a row and is considered to be on a win streak. Treasure chests will now spawn 15 seconds after a match begins, rather than immediately, giving players some time to contest. And then resolve some issues with some bugs. Okay, so let's just break it down one by one. PvP wins will now award 2 reward pips on a player's daily rewards. Awesome, I love it. That's generally how I try and fill my daily track anyway, is by PvPing. So making that go faster is awesome. PvP wins will now reroll green quests. I saw your thumbs up. How are you feeling about that?
I do like it. Not as much as I thought I would, and that's simply because, and then actually someone who commented on my last video made this point, and that is, well, then the quest is going to be matched based upon the minis that are in your PvP deck, and those may not be the minis that you want to target on questing, and that is true. So I think it's going to modify some of my quest strategy. But you know what? Still, getting more 3x quests rather than 1x, that's just hard to turn down.
Yeah. So
Very hard to turn down.
One thing to touch on is it just re-rolls green quests. You can't spend a bunch of PvP games to find a purple quest, because as soon as you upgrade your green quest, you have to do it or let it expire before you can re-roll again, because it's not green.
Yes.
And then also touching upon what you said about people complaining about minis not being in your PvP army that you want to focus on. I also had that complaint. However, I think what's going to happen now more than ever, even though it was already a pretty good strategy, and people, I saw so many people talking about it and doing it in the main Discord, where they tank their leader honor to 0. That way they can play whatever minis they want, fight against bots, and re-roll things. So it doesn't take very long to tank a leader's honor to 0, and then you can really just play with whatever you want to target anyway. And I don't know how many people I saw in the main Discord talking about that and doing that and posting screenshots of 6 or 7 of their leaders being at 0 honor, ready for the change. So there are ways around it. You can target whatever you want as long as you're dedicated enough.
Okay, yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
And then I like the changes to honor. If it's below the average honor of the top 3 leaders, you gain more. If it's fallen below the leader's peak honor, you gain more, or you've won several matches in a row and are considered to be on a win streak. Now, my question about the win streak thing is that
Okay.
with a specific leader, or is that just like you in general? So if I like play a Baron and then swap to an Emperor and then swap to a Rend and then swap to a Maeb and I've won all 4 games, am I on a win streak or is it leader specific?
The verbiage in the patch notes is ambiguous on that point. Is it not?
Yeah, I think so. Doesn't really clarify.
Let's see. Players will earn slightly more honor if... Okay, let's read it this way. Players will earn slightly more honor if the leader being played has won several matches in a row.
It does
is considered
say
to be on a
leader.
win. Yeah, I think that answers it. So scratch that. The verbiage is not ambiguous.
Yeah. Well, looks like I'm gonna have to stop playing 4 different leaders and just play one and grind them up.
Possibly so. Possibly so.
Okay. And then treasure chest now spawning 15 seconds after the match begins is fantastic. I love it. It's no longer an unbound race / prowler race to get treasure chests, which is just so good.
Totally agree.
Alrighty. And then I think that is it. Other than guilds can use emotes in chat. That's pretty fun. I'm not going to talk about relics because they're just kind of... Honestly, they're kind of boring. We can talk about some bug fixes, potentially. So Baron Rivendare's passive skeletons will no longer spawn from under construction towers and meeting stones. That is a great change, honestly. I hated that.
Agreed.
And, like, I played Baron a lot, so I got use out of it, too. But, yeah, not a big fan of it.
Yep, I'm okay with that.
Yep. Emperor
Makes
Thaurissan
sense.
now has the Bombard trait. Cool. This is a bug fixing Bloodlust on Cairn after he resurrects. Tyrion's Divine Shield talent should now properly ignore damage from an enemy Drakasab.
Good.
I thought that was in a patch note previously, and it never worked, so I'm hoping it got fixed this time.
I've yet to have it tested. Maybe Sky can tell us.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Poor Hound's Guard Dog talent should now deal 50% extra damage, as intended. It was 150%. That's a good change. Okay, this is a big one. I'm going to skip Nulburu. It's just about Sneed. Griffin Rider's Mighty Throw talent should no longer cause her to switch targets sporadically. That
I love
it. Yeah, that's awesome. Though I've not actually been paying attention to this. I hope this is actually fixed. But basically,
I can confirm.
Can confirm it's fixed? Awesome.
Yes.
Yeah. So basically, Griffin Rider was just kind of targeting whatever was closest to her, which was weird because no other mini in the game does that. But she was, so glad they got that fixed.
It could really ruin your day if you dropped a Griffin on your opponent's Griffin when they were already targeting, say, your barracks. That Griffin would just turn, and they could fire faster than your deployed Griffin. So you could just get one shot and just lose 2 gold.
Yep, I've had a lot of cases like that. Huntress. Her Darnassian Steel talent should no longer grant her an unintended +1 range. Cool.
Yep.
Don't know that anyone was using that talent, but it is good.
The Darnassian Steel, that's the one that grants an additional 50% damage to the first target hit, right?
No, I think that's the one that's extra bounces.
That's Elven Might. Oh, never mind. That's a very corner case. My bad. Very corner case issue. Yep.
And then spells, I love both of these fixes. So Blizzard's Cold Snap talent should now properly stop enemy movement, even when the enemy has a speed buff. So this was a good change because it's supposed to freeze them in place, and it looked like it was just reducing their movement speed by the same amount. So if you gave them any extra increase, it would cause them to keep moving, which is annoying, and I'm glad they fixed that. And then this one is like, thank you so much, because I have been talking about this fix since beta, and it's still, like, it never got fixed. I even tried it as soon as the game launched in the soft launch, and I was like, nope, still broken. Please fix this. Cheat Death's Vampirism talent should now properly trigger when affected minis deal damage to a boss. Perfect. I love it. Thank you so much.
Yep. That's big.
That is huge.
Yeah. That'll make the spell much more viable, I think.
Alrighty, let's go ahead and jump into our next topic. I would like to talk about first impressions of the new PvP meta. So, we already talked about it. We have random maps now, which is kind of cool. I guess I just want to know your thoughts. How are you enjoying random maps? Are you enjoying the new enchants? We talked about that a little bit earlier, but what are you feeling for this new season? How do you think it's fleshed out for you?
Yeah, so it dropped what, about 22 hours ago, somewhere around there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so first impression is I like the randomization. I like it more than I expected I would. I hope that feeling continues. Yeah, we did talk quite a bit about the enchant, and it just feels like, side towers are super important. Not quite as important as the barracks, but pretty close.
Mm-hmm. So I agree. I think that random maps are good. I was skeptical at first, and I mean it still remains to be seen. Like you said, we only had it for less than a day.
Right.
But originally I thought that having random maps would just decrease the already small pool of minis that you could play, and just play super safe things like Whelp Eggs, Griffin Rider, Prowler, Quillbore, Safe Pilot. And those things are being played quite a bit, but maybe that's more on the enchantment. And I think that the enchantments, as they progress and they pair with different modifiers, will probably change the meta in a good way. And
It could.
I think that's where we will get our variance from. Currently, though, it feels like there is a lot of the things I just mentioned: the Whelp Eggs, Griffin Riders, Quillbores, Safe Pilots, things of that nature. All of the good things. Have you ran into any variety in the PvP ladder so far?
Well, you see Gargoyle on occasion.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen Huntress a few times, but I've been playing my Mayav, which is close to 4K, and I've been getting Emperor Thaurissan up to 3K.
Mm-hmm.
So you do tend to see more variety. You tend to see more variety in the sub 3K. People don't often have their PvP loadouts optimized for PvP, so I have seen Pyromancer, Darkspear Troll, things like that. But yeah, when I'm playing Mayav, it feels like same old, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's kind of what I've experienced. I've seen a lot of Maev, a lot of Baron, the occasional Tyrion and Rind. The rarely I'll see other Emperors. I think that's mainly just because he's more new and players don't have him leveled up yet. And then Drakasath I've ran into a couple of times, but nothing too crazy. Maybe like out of the 50 games or so I've played, maybe not even that many. I think I played him like twice. Jaina is big, but only if you have the levels on the important units, like the Harvest Golem. There is one guy that I play constantly, and all he does is play Turtle Jaina, and he has level 10 everything, even Harvest Golem, which is crazy. It is very difficult to deal with.
I know.
But yeah, the Turtle Jaina deck feels really good. So I would probably say the most common decks I see are the same ones: Jaina, Maiev, Baron. There's the occasional Murk-Eye, and I'm playing Murk-Eye in my top 3 at the moment, though I don't actually think he's super good right now. I think it's just something that I enjoy playing.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I would think Drakasath would be a pretty risky play, just because you require so much time to build up, which allows your opponent a lot of opportunity to take initiative and get aggressive. And so you're gonna have to really work, I think, to get Drakasath, or you're gonna have to have an opponent who tries to play your game rather than play their game, and I fall into that trap quite often. actually.
Yeah.
I go after Drac, and nothing I throw at them, does anything because they're running Shaman, they're running Holy Nova. It's powerful.
Yeah, it is very powerful, and it does absolutely wreck people if they're not prepared to deal with it. And I
Yep.
have found that a couple of the times that I played him, my deck was not prepared to deal with it, and I had to modify it just a touch to make sure I could kind of like secure that matchup a little better.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That makes sense.
I think my first impressions are that I enjoy it. I still wish that they would balance PvP a little better, but I think that is a topic for a different episode, and maybe we'll get into that on the next one. So I'm enjoying it right now,
absolutely.
and I'm looking forward to the enchants. So that's how I feel
Sounds
about it.
sounds good. Sounds good. If we have just a couple of minutes, what I would really like to not addressing level caps or any of that state of PvP, what I would like to see happen is I would like to see a second PvP mode open up. I'd like the current, yeah. I'd like the current to remain basically what it is, although I would like to see the enchants and the modifiers, the towers and the maps, the map be fixed, but they should rotate out a lot faster. They should rotate a lot faster. And the second mode, of course, I played both Brawl Stars and Clash Royale from Supercell. And so in Brawl Stars they have a mode called Power League, and it kind of reminds me of Heroes of the Storm and in MOBA games like that, where the map is selected and then you go into a draft and you ban some units and then you select your units based upon what the map is, what the mode is, and what your opponent is playing. And I think that would give a good balance between the people who just want to casually get in and get out and play PvP kind of in a fixed mode, like what we have experienced up to this point. But it would also give people who want a little bit more strategy in terms of their selection. I think it would give them a good outlet for that.
I absolutely agree. I think that would be a ton of fun. I think I had somebody in one of my videos recommend something along those lines.
Okay.
But it wasn't that you like go into like a mode where you draft and you get to pick and ban certain things. It was that every week there's something called an arena where it's only open for that amount of time. You get rewards based on like your placement in it. But the arena cycles through which minis are available. So each week it's different. You don't have to pick or ban anything. There are just minis that are not usable during that specific arena, which I think would be cool too. I think there's a lot of cool different PvP modes, and maybe we can talk about that more in depth in the future. It'd be fun to speculate about different things they would add. But for right now, I think the episode is getting a little long. And I think that it's time to go into our next topics. However, those are going to be on Blue Max's channel, so we're going to talk about Emperor Thaurissan, all things with him. He's our new hero, and looking forward to getting into that. And we're also going to be talking about the future of the game and what we think about it. Well, rather, future of guild systems, as far as raids and PvP and things like that go. So, that is all for this half of the episode. I'm going to link the other half in Blue Max's channel, so make sure you go and check that out. It'll be in the description below. And yeah, anything you want to say before we head out, Max?
No, let's hop over to my channel and let's do the next half.
Alrighty, guys, see you over there.